minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Degrees.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Why, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. We are here, man. The New Year's Eve, the post-Monday celebration, the greatest day of the entire week. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know you are ready for the holidays again. You have another day off. Next week's going to be brutal. I will give you that, and we will do our best to prepare you for that one and get you set up for success. But by golly, until then, we will enjoy as much of the holiday season as we possibly can. Welcome into the show. It is The Voice of Reason. My name is Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. But we are all over the country. So many great radio affiliates across the nation doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the program. By the way, for those that are watching the video feeds, I am working on a better camera because our old webcam that was here in the studio just not working, so we're working on better graphics. We have the video up, but there's just no camera to it, so you can't see my ugly mug on there, which is probably better for you anyways, but we are still on the radio side and podcasting side, which you can find on our website, HooserReason.com, on any of your favorite podcasting sites by just typing in The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. All right, we have a lot to get to today. Troy Miller will be on the program. He is with the National Religious Broadcasters. We've had him on before. We are going to go across the world, and we'll talk about Christian persecution that's going on, especially with the ongoing slaughtering of Christians in Nigeria, other areas. Donald Trump handling those issues, and apparently that's a controversial thing. I find that kind of weird. I don't know why, but apparently it is. So we'll get to that at the bottom of the hour on how we can kick off 2026 properly. But this is probably outside of the special Christmas episode of the program that we do where we just step away from politics and we play our fun audio skits and bits. This is another fun one where we like to do a recap of the year and where we went as a radio show, where we went as culture, as politics. We recap, do a year in review, and then set ourselves up for a proper 2026. So even though this is technically, I guess, the New Year's Eve, and we get ready for 2026, I still like to buy the old school calendar where New Year's would be in April 1st, which is why April 1st was April Fool's Day, because that was traditionally the old school New Year's when we would go from the wintertime into spring and things would become life again after being dead during the wintertime and things would grow. Normally, that's when we would start a whole new cycle, right? Would be springtime, but we don't do that anymore. So I guess we'll just have to go with this ridiculous calendar that we live in today. So December 31st is our New Year's Eve. We have New Year's coming up just a couple days away, and it's really exciting. So what are your New Year's resolutions, and how far have we come in 1 year? I have to admit, this year under the Trump administration has been an absolute blur because things happened at such a rapid rate. I've said it before, we've had more progress and more productivity than any other administration in modern American history, addressing so many issues at such a fast rate by not just Trump, but his entire cabinet and administration. I give it pretty much an A. An A. I mean, well done. We still have lots to do. And Congress being the forefront of what they better get done when they get back here in just a few days by next week, and they start addressing the potential government shutdown at the end of January. The politicians start looking into all of the special bills that they want to propose to say that they've worked on, or special little audio clips, and they're grandstanding on the Senate or House floor, so that way they go into midterm election season. So it's going to be a wild one next year. But that is the year that Congress, especially Republicans, better start codifying the Trump administration's agenda. Better start cutting more taxes, cutting spending. We really start seeing some transparency with the DOJ and actually see some arrests with, I don't know, corruption going on at the federal level, or even corruption going on in the state of Minnesota or other places.
Say what?
Like, I would like to see someone get arrested by the end of the day when we see all this corruption that's going on, knowing that politicians were behind it, allowing these businesses to be quote-unquote legal, and then for them to continue on to get millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Is that okay? Of course not. Of course it's not okay. But what a year it has been. Now, first, on the personal side, again, and I try to say this as much as I can, thank you for listening to the radio show. Thank you for downloading the podcast. Thank you for going to our website. Thank you for checking out our partners and sponsors on the show. Thank you for supporting this program with what we do on here, because we obviously would not do this if it wasn't for you. We've been going on, we hit 10 years in the Wichita market as of August this year. That's a big feat, especially for the radio industry. That's really awesome. So thank you. Little inside baseball for the radio industry. There's a lot of hosts that bounce from market to market to market all over the country, trying to find that next big gig, trying to find that next big opportunity. And very rarely do you have a host. Now, I guess talk radio is a little bit different because you're more involved and connected to the community. But overall, as the radio industry as a whole, very few radio hosts are able to either maintain their on-air positions for 10 years straight or even stay in the same market for a long period of time. So the fact that we've been here, that you've continued to listen to the show, I thank you so much for that. On the national front, we've been now syndicated for more than 2.5 years. We're going on almost 3 years. In June of 2026, it'll be 3 years now, which I'm really excited about. And just this year alone, we've gained so many affiliates across the nation, and we love you for that. We've partnered with some great new partners on the program, and we have a few more that are coming on at the beginning of the year, and I cannot wait to tell you about it. I can't do it yet, but we got more affiliates coming on. We have more sponsors and partners coming on, and the fact that they continue to come back is because of you actually listening to the show. Downloads of the podcast are up 30% year over year. One more time, can we do that? Thank you. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Last year we had a rockin' year. This year it was even better, with even a 30% growth year over year with our total downloading podcasts. We're covering more areas. We've hit more rankers. And of course, one more time, we hit the Talkers Top 100 this year, number 94 nationwide for the top talk shows in the entire country. That's freaking awesome, man. So thank you for that. And it's because of you. Again, I could sit here and do all I want to and just, be behind a microphone, but unless someone's listening, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. So it's not about me. It's about the movement. I've been saying it this last couple weeks with the ongoing gossip. It's about policy, not personality. And the fact that you listen to this personality to give you content in policy conversation really deeply means the world to me, because this is truly like I'm living the dream. I always say it when I meet people. How are you? Living the dream, man. It truly is, because this is my dream life of what I want to do, is to be on the radio. So thank you for that. We love it. Now, outside of me, there was some really crazy stuff that happened this year as well. I mean, imagine, this was such a year that late night talk shows almost went off the air completely. We have Stephen Colbert on the way out. Stephen Colbert on the way out. We have Jimmy Kimmel that almost went on the way out. He was on a hiatus for a little bit, came back with a 1 or 2 year deal, 3-year deal, whatever it was, back on the air now. We have late night that's completely revamping itself, which is pretty wild. We have the media that just relentlessly goes after Donald Trump. And I have to ask you the question and ponder it as we wrap up 2025. The scandals, the big blow-ups in D.C., and I say scandals in air quotes here, because is it really scandals that happened within the administration this year, or were they fabricated scandals that the media tried to hype up to show confusion and chaos within the Trump administration? I really want you to ponder that fact for just a moment. There's an article that was written by, who is this, Mediaite? Well, that's expected. The left-wing Mediaite source that gives the ranking of Donald Trump's scandals, conflicts, and controversy of 2025. And we'll get to that in a moment, but I want you to think, are those actually scandals and different controversies within Donald Trump's administration, or were they fabricated to try and make it look like Donald Trump had a chaotic year? And it was chaotic, but I think for the most part for us, it was chaotic in a pretty good way. So we'll read that list in just a moment. We also like to do our recap of the media on what they did this year.
What's trending today?
And it's about a 2.5-minute clip of the montage of the media directly after the election of November last year, with Donald Trump becoming president again, in the early parts of the administration with their predictions, their outlandish outcries, and their panic of Donald Trump getting back into the White House.
So again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States. I think that going forward, the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States,
So angry. So angry.
be prevented from employment in this country, because I remember applying for my jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons.
We're all going to have to wake up tomorrow morning and work like hell to move the world to the place that we prefer it to be. And I just want to point out, just as a matter of perspective, that the lessons that our pundits take away from these results, that they will pronounce with certainty, will be wrong. And we have to remember that.
I literally could go on all day, and yet you talk to Trump voters and they'll go, he didn't say that. Wait, no, I didn't hear him. And then you say, well, here's the quote, and then they'll go, yeah, he didn't mean that.
I didn't expect it to be this resounding, and I think there are some lessons from it. I think we forget about rural America. I think the working class feels left behind. They feel like the powerful, the elite, only care about them and their power. And he spoke to them. We may not have liked his words, but they turned out for him.
It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare. And those people who deserve to be respected and held and talked to, those are the people who are going to pay the price for whatever Donald Trump decides to do.
I'm mystified in some ways. Who are we as a country? And we're starting to find out.
I think this is a big, huge part of the story that it's hard to even digest fully at this moment. But you have Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, X, who is a disinformation propagandist and now has could potentially have a direct line to the Oval Office.
These Democratic leaders are simpletons. They're servants of the donor class. So they go in there, they're like, oh, donor, give me money, please. And I made an ad. I'm Kamala Harris. I'm full of joy. Okay, well, what did that get you? And they say, oh, Jake, you're too angry. Too angry? What?
I tell you, man, media went a little crazy this year. Since the election of November last year in 2024 and Donald Trump took office, they have been livid. There's been nothing positive. In fact, 92, 98% negativity rate and coverage of President Donald Trump. Obviously, Donald Trump, no one can be negative. Well, take that back. There are some that could possibly be negative and actually that bad at the time. I would say Joe Biden, but Joe Biden wasn't even in office at the time because he was downstairs using his magic marker on his coloring books and pretending that he was in the Oval Office while the auto pen did the rest of it. So I guess there's that. But I tell you, the media, the negativity against Donald Trump has been absolutely insane. And it's been fun to watch, but at the same time, were they really covering the scandalous Trump administration, or was there just the mirage of the scandals and the controversy from Donald Trump? I don't know if you remember the difference between this administration. Okay, enough of the music. It's clown show what the media did. But if you remember the Trump administration 1.0 compared to Trump administration 2.0 now, I don't know if you remember the first one. There was a lot of turnaround that was going on within the cabinet members. He was hiring and firing people and different White House staffers and a lot of workers. There was an ongoing rotating door in the Trump administration 1.0. And it really came down to he was thrust in, wasn't quite prepared for it, didn't know what was going on, had a vision, and bureaucrats that have been in there for a long time weren't doing their job, trying to play the politician, the government work, let's just kick back and let's coast, and Donald Trump doesn't operate that way, so he was trying to find the right people for the jobs. This time, I don't know of many people that have really been fired out of the Trump administration. We have the same press lady, Caroline Leavitt, which has been an absolute rock star. We have the same cabinet. There hasn't been a single person in the cabinet that's been walked away, even though there's been the threats and the rumors in the media's, we're going to get rid of Kristi Noem, we're going to get rid of Scott Bessent, we're going to get rid of Kash Patel. None of it's happened. And in fact, Donald Trump says over and over again he's very happy with these individuals. So the lies from the media versus real controversy, up in the air. We'll cover some more of that. Is our 2025 year in review right after this. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, reason, common sense, rationale. It's what we do on the program here, especially for our post-Monday celebration, our New Year's Eve program here for the voice of reason as well. By the way, newsletter is coming out on Monday next week, as always, the first Monday of the month. So if you have not signed up for the newsletter, the hell's wrong with you, man? Get signed up. Just go to the website, HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. You can sign up. It's completely free. You can be the latest and greatest Hoosier-holic. And again, we love you and thank you very much for that. And you'll get that newsletter. It does not charge. We do not spam you with a whole bunch of stuff. We send you one email a month. That's it. Well, we'll send you a welcome one, too, but we'll send you a once-a-month email with our blog, our newsletter, with information on there about the show, new partners, new affiliates, and so on and so forth. So really excited for that one to come out. Also, want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. As you know, we've been getting ready for the Take One Small Step campaign for 2026, which is the 250th birthday of this nation. That is going to be so awesome.
Winning.
But they also have a lot of other campaigns going on as well. With the ongoing discussion about health care, you need to have options, and like options on healthcare coverage, not just government healthcare, not the people that are screaming that because subsidies are going away at the federal level to insurance companies that you hate, but you want to pay them through your own taxpayer money and distribution, which makes no sense whatsoever. We need other private options. Congress is working on that, but you can find more information as well about what options are out there and what type of legislation that we can push to create more options for your health care. And you can do that by going to the website at personaloption.com. personaloption.com with our friends over at Americans for Prosperity. Go check it out today. All right, let's play a little game here, shall we? Let's look at some of the controversies and conspiracies of 2025 under the Trump administration because, well, the media either created them or it was a very scandalous year for the Trump administration in general. This is from Mediaite.com, and I want you to, again, think about these and say, was it really a controversy or a conflict or a scandal, or was it just made up because the media wanted the Trump administration to look disorganized, kind of like they were at the first administration 1.0? Number one, in January, the January 6th pardons, the co-presidency of Doge, the press loyalty testing, and oversight purges. That's all one category. And we can pretty much tear apart every one of those. The January 6 pardons, you can take what you will of them. A lot of people still had not even had their proper due process in court and have been in jail for how many years for that one? Yeah, that was a little crazy. So even if they were guilty of something, they more than likely had served their time already. So there's that. The co-presidency of Doge. Well, that's just media. That's just stupid. Elon Musk did not have a co-presidency. They literally have done what other agencies had attempted to do in the past. Go into government agencies, go into spending programs, see where the fraud is, expose it, mainstream some of the process, and then try and cut out the fluff. I don't know what the problem is there. The press loyalty test. Well, we did cut off, who was it? Was it the AP, the Associated Press? Because they refused to call the Gulf of America. They still tried to say in their reports that it was still the Gulf of Mexico. So Donald Trump ended up cutting them out of the press room for a little bit. They came back. Don't really know what the issue was there. So that was a major big failure on the whole government scandal from the Trump administration. Didn't really work out there. All right, February. Here it is. According to Mediaite, some of the other scandals from the month of February. The Gaza resort. They're still working on what to do with Gaza right now, but at least there was a ceasefire, so that's a big win, right? I would say so. The ban from the Associated Press, all right. The Epstein binder stunt, that was probably the worst one. Out of everything of the entire year, probably the only bad one we saw. And then Volodymyr Zelensky dressing down. Well, you just got to be a little more professional. I don't know what the issue is here. Here we are, March. Canada is the 51st state. I will also add to that Greenland becoming part of the United States. That really needs to happen because, as I've said before, I will be the ambassador to Greenland. I will more than happily move to Greenland. I am tired of 75-degree Christmas days in Kansas, so I am more than willing to move to Greenland if Donald Trump consumes it into the United States. I don't know why that's a scandal or controversial. Let's make it happen, baby. There's more of it. We'll get to it later on. It's The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Mid-America Business Minute. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 94 points today at 48,367. The S&P 500 is down 9 points to 68.96, and the Nasdaq is down 55 points to 23,419. The three major averages have slumped to start the week, dragged down by losses in tech. Nvidia posted back-to-back losing sessions, as did fellow AI Palantir Technologies. The Federal Reserve today released minutes from its highly divisive meeting earlier this month, which concluded with a vote to lower interest rates again that appeared to be an even closer call than the final vote indicated. In oil news, prices held steady today. Gold was up $18.50 to $4,362 per ounce. Silver gained $6 to end the day at $76.40 an ounce. I'm Stephanie Austin.
After school. Okay, I got it.
It's easy to take your world for granted. Most days go by without a whole lot of surprises. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Would you be prepared? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Today, learn how at www.ready.gov. Ready.gov. This message brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Joe Pags. Make plans to join us for the show today. You know how we do it. We're bringing the top news stories that are affecting you, the top stories from social media, pop culture stories, could be in sports. Maybe we'll sing a song or two or three or make fun of somebody that you want us to make fun of. That plus, of course, a big part of the program is you calling in. Look, we can agree, we can debate, we can yell at each other, we can sing a song together. We do it all right here on the Joe Pags Show, Monday through Friday. The Big Talker, 1480 AM and KQAM.
Eric Harley and Gary McNamara on Red Eye Radio.
Gary, you and I are taking our end-of-year break, wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. The great Dan Mandis is filling in while we are gone.
And we are back Sunday night, Monday morning, January 5th, with so much to talk about, including health care, and will there be another government shutdown?
Red Eye Radio, live overnights, only on Wichita's Big Talker, 1480 KQAM.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. Great to have you today for a post-Monday celebration. Also, your pre-New Year's celebration. Getting ready for 2026. We are ready to set that tone. It's going to be a bigly year, my friends.
And I think we're going to make it bigly.
And we are ready for it. I'm excited, but I'm always excited. I'm excited about everything. Everything's a celebration and a party, right? Yeah, we'll go with that one for sure. We have midterm elections, legislative sessions coming up, and more. So enjoy the last week of the holidays before we hit the ground running next week for sure. And this is the perfect way for us to wrap up 2025 as we do a year in review, we do some self-reflection, and we not only look at this year, but maybe society as we've advanced throughout the decades and where we're at today compared to 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 100, 1,000 years ago. I've always told you I was born definitely in the wrong time period, because if I had a choice, I would have been born I would choose to be born, I don't know, 1,500 years ago or something. I would have just loved the survival out there and do our thing. Is that the case now? No. You got like technology and stuff out there trying to control your life on a regular basis. So, yeah, it's been a challenge. But nonetheless, excited to have on the program to talk about some of this and more.
What's trending today?
I'm so excited for this one. He is the author of the latest book, Lost in Time, Our Forgotten and Vanishing Knowledge. Happy to have on the program Jack Bielik. Jack, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, Andy.
Yeah,
good to talk to you.
Happy New Year to you. I'm excited for the chat here. We have such a short amount of time that's been recorded throughout history, and going even all the way back to the carvings and stone walls, from the ancients back in the day. We have so little understanding of our past, and it seems like, Jack, that almost we're getting back to that when. I got to be honest, I grew up, I'm a millennial. My childhood, I had everybody's phone numbers memorized. I don't remember any of that nowadays with technology. Are we starting to lose it all over again?
Well, that's a great point you bring up. Only 1.6% of history has been recorded. So there's a lot that we don't know about that we've forgotten or just, didn't choose to remember it. And are we forgetting more and more? I don't know. I think people back in history were just as smart as us. They just had different tools to use or different ways of doing things. But, yeah. And we find this, all the time where, certain things were done in the past that we didn't even realize. Like cataract surgery, for example, cataract surgery, your eyes become cloudy, the lens of your eye becomes cloudy as you get older, and we have surgeries now to take care of that, different techniques that we use to do that. But surgery for the eye, cataracts, was done back in 800 BC in India by a physician there. And even back as far as 2400 BC, we have the Ebers Papyrus that shows us that the Egyptians did cataract surgery back then. So sometimes, we've done things and just forgot about it and learned it again because it's important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild how we forgot so much and we're trying to rediscover it, which leads to the question I have is why has it taken us so long to advance in technology? Because really we haven't seen a technological growth since about 1900 when we saw the Industrial Revolution, and then since then it's been the automobile, and then it was the planes, and now we have artificial intelligence and supercomputers, and we have all this now that's been done in such a short amount of time. But why was it all the way back then where we had a lot of knowledge, we understood a lot about the world around us, but we didn't see a lot of that type of technology?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems just as a human race, we keep doing this to ourselves. Think about a simple thing like the toilet. The ancient Romans had toilets. We even have records of the sewer systems and toilets found in the Orkney Islands in Scotland.
Wow.
Where the Neolithic people there, 3000 to 2000 BC, had toilets. Yet, in the Middle Ages of Europe, they had no sewers or toilets. Sewage ran off the top of buildings and into the streets.
Yeah.
And, why do we keep doing that to ourselves? It's interesting how we seem to, keep losing what we have. And that's a question about today. Are we going to lose what we have today?
That's a great point. And what do we do to hit that reset button and start all over? It's funny you mentioned that. I had just seen a video on social media like the last day or two about how ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, they were so technologically advanced. And in fact, there's theories out there, if you want to believe like what the pyramids were actually for, were actually like, some believe it was a power source, like a power generating source to have electricity back in the day. Whether that was the case or not, that's kind of on fringe historical belief, but you can still take it as you will. But regardless, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, they had flowing rivers, they had aquifers, they had so much great stuff. And then it all just went away, and some believe that it was maybe raiders that came in and just kind of destroyed the areas and just moved on, and that we never really documented or recorded or knew who they were, or whether, like you said, we just forgot throughout the times as different societies kind of came and gone. But it's so fascinating to think about what could be if we never lost some of this technology and we didn't have to start all over.
Yeah, and there's some great examples of where if we would have kept that knowledge, how much smarter we'd be. There's in Peru, they did cranial surgery where, if you got hit on the head probably with an axe or, whatever, you're in some war with the neighbor, and they did cranial surgery there in 400 BC.
Wow. And
they did it all the way up through the 1400s. They were doing cranial surgery. And as they did it, they got better and better, and actually 90% of their surgeries were effective in the 1400s. But then you go to the Civil War times, and the cranial surgery they did there was only 50% effective.
Wow.
So we could have saved lives had that knowledge from the Peruvians been saved for the Civil War time.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. We're talking with Jack Bielik. He's author of the book Lost in Time, Our Forgotten and Vanishing Knowledge. In your opinion and all the research that you've done throughout history, what is one of the biggest blunders in loss of history or loss of knowledge, loss of artifacts for that time? I can only imagine probably, my guess would be maybe like the Egyptian libraries that got burnt when Rome came and took everything over, and we saw just the entire burning of these libraries and different scrolls. But I'm sure that's one of them. But from your opinion and all this research, where have we gone wrong in just burning the understanding of culture and technology?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's really the rub, that we do it a lot of times to ourselves.
We do like to self-sabotage. Yeah.
It is. We just need to be a little more thoughtful. It seems simple, but for some reason we can't seem to get that into our heads. Just even in recent times, millions of artifacts were lost in Baghdad because of bombings and not just from things we did, but from everyone that was over there and doing all that. But millions of artifacts were lost that we'll never recover, and that's just a recent example. But libraries lose information all the time because of there's many different reasons. Earthquakes, fires, floods. War is a big one, and sometimes on purpose, burning and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, politically, let's go to the political side of this for just a moment, and not to pick on, certain groups, but, looking at the Catholics and the Vatican Library and why, even if we have artifacts, they're not made available to the rest of the world. They're locked in a vault underneath the Vatican Library where no one's allowed to touch them. And I find that kind of weird, Jack. I mean, if we have all these artifacts historically in documents and different things, I would think that would be available or should be available to the world to see instead of hidden somewhere where it's out of sight and out of mind.
Yeah, that's not probably the right approach. If we're thinking about keeping the information available for a long period of time, what's the best way to do that? I mean, it's not to keep it in one place. It's really to spread it around, have multiple copies, make sure that the information is going to be there for future generations and for people to grow and to understand. I mean, the past is only good for one thing, and that's to learn from. Mm-hmm. And, you can't change it. You can't necessarily forget about it, although you can. But if you learn from it, then that history becomes valuable.
Yeah. And
so, we should do that, make sure we do that.
It's a really great point. Have you seen the cyclical form of us gaining knowledge, hitting the reset, starting all over, and learning essentially the same stuff over and over again? How many times do you think we've gone through this cycle throughout humanity?
Yeah, hard to measure that exactly. We've got, hundreds of cultures that have vanished without, a trace. There's examples, in the Indus Valley or the Harappan civilization in Pakistan. They've got records there. They've got writings from them, but we can't decode them. And the government there is even offering $1 million reward for anybody that can decode it. And so what knowledge do they have, and how many of these civilizations have been lost and destroyed and the information forgotten? You were talking about those pyramids. What value could we have if we knew how they did that?
Yeah.
Maybe we could build something that would be useful for us and help our civilization as well.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, when was the last time we built something like that is going to stand the test of time to where we can see them 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 years later, like we've seen with the pyramids and with some of their, great wonders of the world? When have we built one of those that we know is going to last like that? Jack, hang in line. Got to take a hard break. A fascinating conversation. I want to talk about when we come back what we do moving forward, because now we're in the digital age, and with everything being digitized, that's cool. But if the computers get wiped and we hit the reset button, then what happens then with humanity moving forward? We'll do that as we recap 2025 and get into the new year right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
Oh, hey, sorry, I was just enjoying one of my snacks during the break. It's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives, but I'm here to tell you that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more. We have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, just welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a pre-New Year's celebration. By the way, programming note for you. So we are taking a couple days off after today for the New Year's for the rest of the week. We will be live for our weekend syndicated program, so do not miss that one. We'll do another kind of year in review and do our outlook now that we're officially launched into 2026. So that will be a big show. Got some great partners, including our partners over at Americans for Prosperity. Elizabeth Patton, the regional director for AFP, who oversees now like 6 states. I mean, it's wild how much she's growing. They've been a big partner and sponsor with us on the show since the beginning. This show would not be possible without Americans for Prosperity and what they've done on the national level with us here on the show. So we thank them so much. We'll have her on the program and some more, but we will look into midterm elections, and the Somali fraud, which continues up with that story, man. It's getting crazy. That one's getting fun, so we'll cover some of that and get you ready for the new year 2026. So we will be live on Saturday for our syndicated program there. We are taking a few days off. The weekday program will be back at it and live again on Monday, so that will be exciting. Make sure to find all the information on our podcast by searching The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites, or go to our website at HooserReason.com. All right, we got a couple minutes left here. Loving the conversation with Jack Bielik. We got to get him back on again soon. Lost in Time is the book, Our Forgotten and Vanishing Knowledge, as we try to learn about the mistakes of losing knowledge and wisdom and understanding from the past. And could we see that happen again? Jack, I can only imagine that if we have these data centers now, we have AI, we're inputting all this stuff into emails, and, you know, ebooks was the big thing a few years ago, and, you know, we're just digitizing everything. Let's say EMP hits, or we lose power, or something happens, you know, a catastrophe, you know, a natural disaster like we've seen all throughout history of mankind. Did we just lose the understanding of how to do anything, and we're just back to the Stone Age again?
Yeah, you know, I don't think we're doing anything wrong, but we're not maybe taking into account the future. You know, the other day I was trying to find a picture on an old USB drive, and I had 8 of them here I had to go through, and 2 of them didn't work, you know?
Yeah.
And when we're designing some new electronics, or, you know, you think about your computer, how long does that last? You know, 5 years, maybe 10. You know, not very long. Not 100 years, certainly not, and 1,000, probably not at all. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, so we're not really thinking about it when we design something. We're thinking about, well, how can we make it cheaper, smaller, better, faster? We're not thinking about longer, or for our children or our children's children.
Sure.
And there are examples in the past where we've had some pretty major events. A Carrington event is a possibility. They had a Carrington event in the 1850s, and a Carrington event's a huge EMP that comes from the sun, a large electromagnetic pulse. And back in the 1850s, they didn't have, you know, much way of electronics, but they did have the telegraph and telegraph wires, and that EMP energized those wires and caused fires at the telegraph stations. So, I mean, what would happen if we had something like that happen today? I mean,
yeah,
you know, it would be quite a mess, I think, and something that, you know, we're not really thinking about. It's not in our line of thought or our vision. You know, we're not thinking about that sort of an event because it's pretty rare.
Sure.
Now, could we have it again? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But you know, there might be some other kind of event we could have. So we need to be thoughtful about our knowledge and our information and how we store it.
So in other words, we should do time capsules like a lot of people like to do, and put some books and put some writings in there, and put it in a time capsule, and then hope that 1,000 years from now, when they try to rebuild society all over again and they find it, be like, well, that's how they used to live back in the day.
Yeah. Well, the time capsules are good, but, you know, they get lost. There's plenty of examples of that. You know, George Washington buried one at the White House in 1793. No one's been able to find it, you know. So there's plenty of examples like that. But, so, and how much information can you store in a time capsule? You know,
Yeah.
will the people be able to read it? Or, you know, who knows?
That's true.
But we
That's
need
true.
to just give it some thought, you know, just give it some thought and have something set up for the future.
Yeah, it's a great point. Well, with Trump remodeling the White House, I'm sure we'll find it somewhere now with the time capsule there. So there is that one for sure. And you know what? We got to rely and just go back to our natural instincts that's in our DNA that may be submerged in there somewhere of survival out in the wilderness and being able to live off the land again, which who knows, we may have to do at some point. Again, Jack, we are out of time. I love the conversation. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Happy 2026. We got to get you back on and do it again soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Andy.
Hey, appreciate
Enjoyed
it. Yeah, appreciate it very much. Happy New Year to you. Back at it again soon. Until then, Happy New Year. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates, from holistic and alternative